Hi, I'm Kelly, and this is Dice, and you're at the Singing Boston. Welcome back to our Beginning Scentwork series. Today we're going to talk about containers. As we always do, we're going to show you the end behavior. This time Dice will be my demo dog, so you have an idea of what you're training for. If you like the video, please give it a like, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next videos in our series. Let's show them how you do it. All right, Dice, find it. Leave it. Alert. Yes, good boy. Alert. Good boy. Good boy. You can see his very distinct behavior change there. I went with what he offered, but that may be a behavior you want to train, but there was no doubt that boy was on odor. Now I'm going to show you Nick and Timo so you can see different behavior.
Good boy. Timo, let's find it. Is that it? Where is it? Where is it? Alert.
Yes.
Where?
Congratulations.
Yes. Good boy. Where is it?
Well done, boys.
Where? Where is it? Yes. Is it down there?
And you notice
yes,
that Nick is rewarding
good.
at the odor source.
Good boy. Yes, sir.
Well done, boys. So let's talk boxes. So you will, in Novice, which is the beginning level, see 10 boxes, 2 rows of 5. They're supposed to be identical in competition, but obviously here I have a mixture of them. They're about 12 inches apart, 36 inches between the rows, a minimum search area of 250 square feet, maximum of 400 square feet, just so you don't think that it's going to be on a football field or something. At home, I'm using a circle. I will sometimes line them up, so it's more like a competition. Important note, it can be indoors or outdoors, so make sure you practice both of them. You'll notice that one of my boxes here has an X, so that's my hot box. And that's for me so I know which box it is when I'm training, because when you put it out here, it's really easy to forget which one is the hot box. If I'm training with Nick, sometimes we'll swap out where we have a hot box that doesn't have an X on it, so we go in blind, so we don't know which one it is, so it's more like a trial environment. So make sure you do that sometimes as well. A note that you will be timed. You will have 2 minutes, and there will be a timer that will call 30 seconds. You're allowed to have a timer in there with you, but you cannot use that to dispute the timer's time. So if you thought you had another 10 seconds and they called you, you have to go with the official's timer. Your dog must wear a collar or a harness. They can also wear hair bows and some other things. You can look up the regulations on akc.org on what they're allowed to wear. I like to use a harness because Bostons are terrible pullers and I don't want anything hurting his neck. Many people, especially if they have bigger dogs, and if you're doing an exterior search, may use a longer leash. We use a 6-foot, that seems sufficient, especially if we're just doing containers and we're walking up and down rows of boxes. In this case, a circle of boxes. Another note is that most of your searches are going to be on leash. If it is a contained area, for example, if you were in this room, then the judge at their discretion can allow you to be off leash. But overall, you're going to be on leash, so it's best to practice so your dog is used to a leash. So here is one of the really cool things about AKC Scentwork. In all other AKC venues, you are not allowed to have food or toys during competition. You're not allowed to touch them. In Scentwork, you are. You're allowed to throw a toy, but if you disrupt the search area, so if I threw it and it went into one of the boxes, I'll probably get NQ'd. So probably want to just keep it in your hands if you're going to use a toy. No squeakers or anything that makes noise. Make sure you use non-crumbly food. I think we may have touched on that, because if I were rewarding and it fell on the box, I'm probably going to get it's called non-qualified NQ'd. If I drop it near the start, I might just get a fault. But the best thing is keep them in your hands and make sure they don't crumble. You can also touch your dog at any time. And you can do this at any time during your search. It doesn't just have to be when you're rewarding your dog, which is super cool. So if you have a dog that's nervous or stressed about something in the arena, who knows what it could be, or if they're just distracted kind of thing, you can reach down, you can give them a pet, you can take your toy out, you can give them a treat, you can get them refocused. What you cannot do, and this is really important, is you can't then lead them to a search area. So if I thought they were kind of interested in this box over here, and I get over here and they're kind of distracted, I can't go down and give a cookie and then come back here. I can, without cookie or luring or anything, I can bring them around and say, hey, come check this out. Just make sure you don't take the cookie or the toy and lead them over there. That will probably get you an NQ. So if my start line were back here, and I may have just gotten NQ'd there. If my start line were back here, I would have Dice back here with me, and there will be probably some orange cones. When the judge tells you to go, your 2 minutes will start as soon as you cross that start line. I'm going to pick a direction, and I'm going to give my dog my find command. In my case, I say find it. When they find the odor, you have to call alert. And there has to be a discernible change in the dog's behavior. So it's not just the handler randomly picking things kind of thing. So I'm going to tell him, Dice, find it. Find it. Alert. Yes. Could you see the discernible difference? Yes. In his case, he lies down and he looks back at me. Yes, good boy. And he'll put his foot on it, and it's a very distinct behavior. This was nothing I trained. I actually just kind of went with the flow, and I wanted to see what behavior he would offer, and that's what he offered. If I went all the way around and he didn't alert on any box, which is not uncommon, what you want to do is go back the other way. We're going to talk in later videos about airflow, but it changes the direction you're coming at with the air. So I've got a door that way, so the airflow's coming this way. So if I change directions, now all of a sudden I change the scent picture. Also make sure that you age your hide, meaning that you leave it sit in your box for at least 10 minutes. That's the minimum in a competition. And then make sure, see if Dice will bear with me here, that it's not actually touching the box. And again, we're trying to simulate competition as much as possible. So I have my Q-tip in a straw, and you notice I'm not touching my odor. And I don't touch my odor when I put it in here. So I'll throw it in the box, and I'll throw it wherever I'm going to practice, and I'll leave it sit there for at least 10 minutes. Sometimes it might be a couple hours before I get back to it, but that's okay, because if you're in a real trial, it may be a couple hours before you run. So the dog needs to get used to understand on that as well. You'll notice maybe something that looks a little out of place. There's a ball sitting in the middle of my containers. In advanced, which is the second level up, they must have a non-food distractor on the course for containers. And I always like to practice a level up. So that way when we get our novice title, we're ready to move right up to advanced. I don't have to take a break and worry about training it. So when I'm training containers, I actually, yes, good boy. I actually put odor in 2 boxes. In advanced, they can use anise and or birch. And by the way, if he did that during a trial, you can give them whatever your leave it command is, and you let them keep working. You're not NQ'd, it's just a time waster. In advanced containers, which is the next level up, they will use 2 odors. The containers can have anise and or birch. So there could be 2 anise, 2 birch, or 1 of each. So I train with that now. I train with 2 boxes, and 1 is always anise and 1 is always birch. I'm also training with a distractor. So again, by the time I get to advanced, I've already trained with this, so it's not something new. So I can just keep going on my trialing, and I don't have to worry about taking a break for training. One of the big things is, don't forget to practice your alerts and saying alert when your dog hits. That's really easy to forget. And so you're standing there, your dog's obviously on odor, and you're rewarding them, and you're not calling alert, and the judge can't say anything. If you call alert, you're going to hear one of 2 things. If it's a happy alert, you're going to hear, yes, congratulations. And if it's a not so happy alert, you're going to hear, no, I'm sorry. But the nice thing is, the judge will tell you which box has the odor. And in Novice, you can actually bring your dog over to it and reward. Most people use food. If you use a toy, whatever you use. But you can bring them to the odor and actually reward them there. Higher levels you can't, but you can in Novice. But that way you're getting a positive experience for your dog. If they've hit on a wrong box, you called it, you can take them to the correct box and still give them a reward. Next up, we'll probably talk interiors, but for now, get a whole bunch of cardboard boxes. If you're an Amazon junkie like us, that's not going to be a problem. They don't have to be identical. And practice indoors, practice outdoors, but make sure you practice. How about you give them a holler? Yes.